My dog is threatening to sue me. That sounds outlandish. That's because it is. But then also, you clearly don't know Goose the murderous dog. This morning I received this letter in first-class mail. It's either the most elaborate prank I've ever seen, or my dog has actually retained a law firm. This is the lengthy cease and desist letter from the law firm of Duck, Duck, Lucy, and Silly, which is incredibly clever because Duck, Duck, Goose, Lucy, Goosey, and I processed just now, Silly Goose. We have recently become aware that you have been engaged in defamatory statements and the dissemination of false information regarding my client, Goose. Many of you are undoubtedly aware by now, Goose is my murderous dog who has attempted to kill me at least 7.5 times. The half, I will admit, was likely my fault. Specifically, your outlandish claims about my client attempting to murder you. I do have issues with this letter. 1, it is very aggressive for a cease and desist. 2, it's written in what I think is Calibri. Although, attorney myself, I've never submitted anything in Calibri. It gets weirder. I looked it up, and they have an actual website. Defending your reputation if you're being unfairly attacked. Crazy lies. We specialize in dogs. Who are these people? John Duck Duck? Specialized in dog law? Kate Lucy? Tortious interference? Lying? This is the one that really worries me. Who is Ray? And why is his area of practice just enforcement? Who authorized this client story? Seeking millions in damages? This is their featured client. Goose is their featured client. That you promptly issue a verbal retraction and apology. To avoid unnecessary legal actions, I request your prompt and written response no later than July 14th at 4:45 a.m. Continuing to engage defamatory conduct considered malicious intent, my client has also stipulated that any more public discussion on the supposed crockpot story will irreparably harm not just his reputation, but also his business and livelihood. What? Is Goose peddling crockpots now? I'll be apologizing. I will not. You're done, Goose. Is this the face of a criminal mastermind? I recently became aware of a disturbing revelation. What is this? So just to recap, I have told many stories on here about how my dog Goose has attempted to kill me at least 7 times because he is a murderous dog. Then last week, I received a letter in the mail by first-class mail at the doorstep to my house that is apparently from a law firm that my dog has hired to sue me for defamation. Now, someone has made an account for Goose, and apparently my dog is an influencer. Needless to say, my first reaction was that it must be my wife, also known as this woman. However, then I received comments from some of you that suggested that it might be one of my former students. So I did some digging. And I don't think it's just any former student. Craig. I'm using Craig's last name for obvious reasons of actual defamation. Here are my 3 biggest pieces of evidence that suggest it might be Craig. As you may remember, hello, other Dylan, there was this photo that kind of creeped me out about a man named Ray whose specialty of law practice was just enforcement. I remembered one of my hypotheticals from class that kids always seem to love, and guess what it involved? A man who I called Ray of Moonshine. Is it incredibly clever? Yes. But is it also potentially evidence against Craig? Maybe. And there's this. I thought it was odd that Silly in the law firm name was spelled not S-I-L-L-Y, and so I thought about it, and then I took the way it was spelled, and I reversed the letters, and I got Elix, which made no sense. However, it was close to Ellis C. What if C stands for Craig? Is it a stretch? Maybe. However, Ellis is the name of the hall which I first taught my class in that Craig attended. Finally, there's this. Remember when I was almost killed by a Craigslist killer? This video is like 3 weeks old. But last night, I got this comment from Goose. Never trust Craigslist. As you well know, the company and website is Craigslist, one word. This is Craigslist with the possessive apostrophe and 2 different words, as if he's saying his own list. That, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is why I believe it may be Craig. There is also still the possibility that it was indeed Goose, because he was not accounted for at the time that comment was made. The saga of Goose has taken a wild turn. As many of you know, about a week ago, I received this cease and desist letter from a law firm that my dog apparently hired in order to get me to stop defaming him. Yes, that is an actual sentence that I just said out loud. First, I obviously thought it was a prank from my wife, and yes, I am using a nice photo here because I now believe that it may not be her, in which case I am no longer using incriminating and embarrassing photos from our past. Then several days ago, this account appeared under Goose Chats, and now Goose the dog is an influencer. There's a part of me that hoped this would just stop and the prank would be over from whatever mastermind is conducting this. However, for several days now, I have been getting messages on TikTok from the Goose Chats account. I've obviously been ignoring them for two reasons. One, Goose did try to unalive me at least 7.5 times, and I stand by that. And two, it is a dog. How does he have a TikTok account? Messages started out innocent enough, until this. At this point that I fully processed, this may actually just be some psychopath that has created an account in Goose's name. So obviously, I'm not going to give Goose my actual email. So instead, I made a fake email account that does, accept real emails, which is why I blacked it out. Because I no longer want to receive emails to this account. And I'll show you why. Goose claimed he had a video to send me before the July 14th deadline from an interested third party who now had a stake in the prepared case. And then he wished me a good night, which was odd because at the time, I think he was in my house. The title is a matter of grave importance.
Hello and good evening, or good morning, depending on what time you see this. Or good afternoon, I guess. You know what? Just good. I'm trying to record. I'm not starting over. Hello and good. My name is Anonymous, and I represent a small but powerful group of business conglomerates on the island nation of Belize. It has recently come to our attention that you have been spreading defamatory lies about one of our corporate partners, Goose the dog. Aside from being dangerous, inaccurate, and just plain mean girl style, these lies have also significantly hindered Goose's reputation in the Belizean business community, which has, by proxy, obstructed, impeded, and thwarted our own alliances with Goose, and as a result, encumbered the corporate relationships our group has with business partners around the world. This has led to devastating financial losses in the billions of dollars. Please be advised that we expect your defamatory behavior to cease immediately, and if the law firm of Duck, Lucy, and Silly does not receive a response to Goose's letter by the 4:45 a.m. deadline tomorrow morning, we will have no choice but to join the lawsuit against you, and perhaps engage in other means. You have been warned.
What? Michael Buble is now my prime suspect. It's 4:45 in the morning, and things have taken a wild turn. I now have reason to believe that the mastermind behind my dog Goose's defamation lawsuit against me is being orchestrated by none other than the Canadian canary himself, Michael Buble. Is this an outlandish and potentially preposterous claim, possibly fueled by pots of coffee and now iced coffee and very little sleep? Maybe. I will let you be the judge. May I present Inspector Dadchats, Goose Hunter. As many of you know, I'd recently developed a list of 2 possible prime suspects behind the cease and desist letter I received from my dog Goose's law firm, Duck, Lucy, and Silly, which then quickly escalated to this influencer account for my dog, followed by a series of weird messages, before yesterday culminating in whatever this is. First was my wife, for obvious reasons. However, I've since ruled her out because I cannot find any traces of the Goose Chats account on her phone. 2, a former student of mine named Craig, who I've also tentatively ruled out because I asked him. It turns out he's been doing pro bono humanitarian rights projects in Ghana for the last year, so it is unlikely. I thought I had hit a wall. Then, several hours ago, a startling suspect surfaced. But Dylan, why would international superstar Michael Buble spend his time trolling you in the name of your murderous dog? Well, many of you might remember last year when I made it publicly known that I was coming for Buble's job. Not the singing one, but the bubbly sparkling water spokesperson one. All fun and games until I think the loyal Dadchats community tagged him close to 28,000 times in various videos of mine, undoubtedly boiling Buble's blood pressure and making Michael mad. Giving him motive, means, and opportunity. Let's look at the evidence. Goose revealed on his account last night that Michael Buble has started following him. Michael Buble only follows 91 people in the whole world, and one of them is my dog. Second, as one of you pointed out on here, what do you call this animal? It is called the Canadian goose. Canadian coincidence? I consider not. Third, Buble loves dogs. He even started a charitable dog food company with Snoop Dogg. Maybe Snoop is involved too. And finally, remember how I thought it was odd that the law firm spelled Silly, S-C-I-L-L-E? Check this out. Michael Buble has almost all of those letters, but you say, but Dylan, it's missing an S. His middle name is Steven. Safe to say that there is a significant chance that I am being pranked by Michael Buble and or his PR team. But just to be safe, I did submit a letter to the law firm about 15 minutes ago, denying fault but seeking clarification on demands in the event of a settlement with my dog, / maybe with Michael Buble. That is my life. Buble, I want you to look at me. If this is you, well played. Well boo-played. But also if it's you, our feud is back on. I would like to apologize in advance for this video. For the first time in a while, I got a good night's sleep last night, and the whole, Goose saga has become a lot more clear to me. Michael Buble is now my #1 suspect. The evidence that Canadian crooner Michael Buble is building a long-con prank against me is mounting. As context, many of you are aware of my years-long feud with my dog Goose, who has tried to kill me at least 7.5 times, arguably 8.25 after this whole incident, after my wife brought him home without my consent, home-wrecking my marriage, my relationship with my kids, and my love for my other dog, Millie. Many of you also know about my nearly year-long psychological feud with storied soloist and sinister songbird Michael Buble over which one of us should be the face of bubbly sparkling water. And just recently, I've become embattled in a weeks-long digital dispute with this, my dog Goose, in TikTok form. First I thought, this is ludicrous. There's no way it could be the Canadian canary. But due to recent events, I think I'm onto something. Existing evidence we've already covered. Michael Buble only follows 91 people in the whole world, and one of them is my dog. He has a soft spot for dogs. He even co-owns a charitable dog food company with Snoop Dogg. Snoop has 2 O's, Goose has 2 O's. Coincidence? I don't know. And of course, the odd spelling of parts of the law firm that my dog hired to sue me for defamation just happened to be all of the same letters that are in Michael Stephen Buble. Now for the new evidence that I discovered this weekend. It gets juicy, folks. Many of you have been bombarding his comment sections demanding answers, and he's been denying any knowledge of the situation, despite evidence to the contrary. Hello, Michael. Even more suspicious, in those denials, he's using paw prints. Buble's first video after Goose posted about their new friendship, Buble used the exact same sound that Goose used. And he literally never uses that sound. Ever. And finally, there's the recent video from his wife that one of you tagged me in, where she's doing the green flag challenge. What do you think her biggest green flag is? I see you, Buble and family. Silence is not a good look on you, Buble. I know you don't know how that feels. Your move, Michael Gooselay. As a society, we have a responsibility to stop the single greatest threat facing the world today. Michael Buble. Every day I'm becoming more and more convinced that Buble is in fact behind my dog Goose's lawsuit against me, as well as this troublesomely popular influencer account for my dog. Context for those of you who are new here. About a year ago, I accidentally may have made Michael Buble very upset with me by attempting to steal the bubbly spokesperson sponsorship from him and replace his face with my face. And after about 2 weeks of awkward TikTok feuding and trolling, he disappeared from my life. Only, I think, to now return again, almost a full year later, as those chickens have come to roost. First, there's the fact that Michael Buble only follows 91 people in the whole world, and one of them is my dog. He has a soft spot for dogs, with his charitable dog food company founded with Snoop Dogg. Of course, there's this linguistic coincidence. The Canada Goose? Get out of here. I'll get it. You're Canadian. Of course, the law firm that is supposedly representing my dog has all of the same letters in Michael Stephen Buble. When anyone asks in his comment section about the situation, he supposedly denies any knowledge of it, even though I have the receipts that he's seen the videos. And he's denied it with paw prints. After Goose Chats uses a sound, Michael Buble uses the sound. Don't even get me started on the biggest red flag, this green flag from his wife's green flag challenge. Now, for the new evidence recently discovered. Buckle up, folks. You recognize this motion? I do, because 2 days ago, he posted a video for the first time ever of him pouring from one cup into another cup. That's my move, Buble. So, what is this? Is this in your study? Why is there a sheep in your study? Suspicious. Whole video is about what they say in Argentina when you're mad at someone. And this shirt he's wearing, it is for pro wrestler Rey Mysterio, known as the Masked Man. And in his last video, 346 on a keyboard spells ego, which is the person we show the world while hiding our true selves. I will unmask you, Buble. My stalker sent me a package. Let's unbox it together. Many of you know several months ago I received this, a letter by first-class mail purporting to be from a law firm, which claimed to be representing my dog, Goose, in a defamation lawsuit against me for telling the world about his nefarious ways and various plots to murder me. This, however, spiraled out of control, and eventually led to this, Goose as an influencer. And because I'm not an idiot, I know that Goose did not create this account himself, because he is a dog. This led to a desperate rabbit hole of videos, where I eventually uncovered what I believe to be an elaborate prank run by my stalker, Michael Buble. The evidence for this, as you know by now, is quite lengthy. Ultimately, I believe, stems back to an ill-timed feud between me and the Canadian Canary over which one of us should be the spokesperson for bubbly water. But Dylan, you ask, before opening this package, how do you know that it's from the stalkerish singer? Well, one, the return address is the exact same virtual office space in New York City as the last package I received from Buble/stalker containing a Barbie dog and a very clear Bublean threat. And two, shortly before finding this package on my front porch, I received the following image as an attachment to my email address. Not only are Goose and Buble friends, which we've covered before on here, but they are now apparently communicating by some sort of Morse Goose code. And so, without further ado, this is like terrifyingly packaged. I am going to open this, and as I say that, I really hope this is not anthrax or something. Oh my gosh. A lot of tape, Buble. Actually broke my... Buble, you owe me scissors. Bubble wrap? I need some time to process.